Greetings. Welcome one and all to the city of Corvosa, the setting for this actual play of Curse of the Crimson Throne. All of us here at RollTales recommend that you at least be 18 years of age before joining us on this dark fantasy adventure path. Curse of the Crimson Throne contains mature content and discretion is advised. Now the time has come. Prepare yourselves. This is a tale of cause and effect. Let's play a game. Let's roll. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Edge of Anarchy, Book 1 of Curse of the Crimson Throne. You know who I am. You know who these four gentlemen are. All of us are back this week, even Kieran. And, well, we are back being thrown into an interesting situation this week. It seems like that the party are going to head to Eels End. Basically, it's the wretched hive of scum and villainy here in Corvosa, or one of the wretched hives of scum and villainy here in Corvosa. But, you know, it's going to be interesting. I was just saying to everybody before we made a start, in all the playthroughs I've done of Curse of the Crimson Throne, I've only really ever glossed over Eel's End. I have never actually run it before because, I'm going to be blunt about this, I was never sure beforehand how to run the scenario of Eel's End in Pathfinder 2nd edition, but now I do, and now I am actually going to do it and run it for these four players here, which, you know, is going to be a unique situation because even Greg, well, I've mentioned before, we've had a couple of goes on this playthrough before of Curse of the Crimson Throne, but Eel's End, no one here has done it. Greg and I have done it once as players, but that was a while ago, and who knows what I'm going to throw into the mix. So, yes, gentlemen, this time you're dealing with a crime lord, but, you're dealing with another crime lord, but crime lord is the operative words here, because unlike Gadrin, this guy, Devago Barvasi, actually has feet and hands on the ladder of Corvosa's crime. He is a actual thing where Gadrin had his opportunity and he blew it. So going into this one, slightly different. What are you feeling? What's your thoughts going into this one so far? It's you got to get some dirt on an ambassador. What's everyone's feeling going into this one? Greg, you've done this. Greg, you have done this before, but as I mentioned, it was a while ago now, my friend. So
Yeah.
going back in it again. How do you?
It'll be interesting. I'd like
yeah.
to see. I just think it'll be interesting. I think I remember some of it, but I'm not sure. So it'll be interesting to go back and see what changes from the last time.
All right. Well, let's find out. Let's actually get some gameplay and let's get some let's actually see what Eel's End will be like this time around. I think the players are waiting for a bit more information and a bit more action, so let's give it to them. Here's the recap. Okay, so the last time we played Curse of the Crimson Throne, our party of adventurers took 4 days out after dealing with the Cowhammer boys at All the Worlds Meet. And once they were rest and recuperated from that experience, the Cowhammer boys actually given them perhaps more trouble than what they were expecting. They returned to Citadel Volshnek, and they returned to Cressida Croft, who had their next mission for them. You see, Cressida was actually prepared to give them their next mission straight away, but due to how things got with the Cowhammer boys, i.e. how close it got, she felt a bit, not guilty, but she felt that she underestimated the Cowhammer boys. She was too pigeonholed, focused on Beric Van Kaskakin. So she wanted to give it a couple of days to do her due diligence before sending the party out. After she had done this, she informed the group of what she wanted them to do. You see, there is the Chelish ambassador to Corvosa, Daravane Ampros. Oh god, his name's a good one actually. Darvane Gios Ampri, and basically Ambassador Ampri is a bit of a you-know-what in regards to Corvosa being fully Chelish. He has a instinctual disdain for this city, although he likes the privileges, he likes the gold, and he likes the vices here in this city. And well, it seems like that this ambassador is trying to become somewhat of a power broker, buying up land, buying up properties, and is going to use his position to basically tell Cheliax put up sanctions and embargoes on Corvosa, because Corvosa, although independent from Cheliax now, still needs to trade with them, and he wants to maneuver his way into a position of power, a power broker position, before having these embargoes lifted. It seems like another one of Zalara's Harrow card readings is coming true here. In this case, Corvosa being attacked from multiple sides. Well, the party have been asked to go to a place called Eel-Enders, which is basically a vice den situated in Old Corvosa. And it is there that the leader of Eel-Enders, a crime lord by the name of Devargo Barvarsi, potentially has information, dirt, on the ambassador's, shall we say, activities around the city and in Eel-Enders in particular. Because this situation needs to be handled discreetly. They can't just simply go to Ambassador Ampre, intimidate him, or even kill him, because that would just martyr him in Cheliax's eyes, as well as, quite frankly, being wrong to somebody like Field Marshal Cressida Croft. So that's the mission. Go to Eel-Enders, acquire this information from Devargo Barvarsi. You have been given some bribe money of 50 gold pieces, and get this information and return it back to Cressida. She did mention that if things get violent, then she would not mourn Devargo's passing, but she also did say if you can think of some other ways to give her the information, then, well, she won't ask no questions if you don't tell her no lies. And that is where we'll bring today's game back in. With Ronursh the Redeemed, actually, because I want to quickly find out what Ronursh, as Kieran was not with us last session, I want to find out what Ronursh has been doing over the last couple of days. So, Kieran, Ronursh had 4 days of downtime before between the two missions. What would he have done over those 4 days, you reckon?
I think he probably would have. What did everyone else get up to? He most likely would have joined them with something, I'd imagine.
Well, the last 4 days was mostly actually RP moments and situations rather than anything mechanical. The party will probably discuss it with you at some point, but Romeo and Feral were talking about Feral's flower shop down in the southernmost parts of Corvosa, potentially getting that back underway and operational. Meanwhile, Ark had a conversation with his father about recent goings on at the academy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I imagine he probably would have walked around and sort of seen if there's any locals he could help with anything, especially sort of like the younger, more vulnerable sort of echelons of society.
Sure. So what I want you to do then actually is make this an open roll, but can you roll me a diplomacy check then to essentially make a depression? And there's no failure or success state here. It's just a general roll.
Diplomacy, yeah?
Yes, because I do believe you do have it actually.
Yeah, I am indeed trained. An 8. Mighty high roll.
Again, though, there was no success or failure to this per se, just more of a general feeling of the city. For example, who would want and who would not want help. And over the next few days, Ronursh, you get the sense that the city is still in a state of almost, I don't know, despondency. The city is still in a state of unrest. But the people you gather from just looking around are basically not living at the moment. They're just existing with no hope and joy right now. Most doors are staying locked. Most curtains, even during the day, are staying closed. And you help out here and there where you can, but it's not that nobody wants help, it's just nobody's willing to accept help right now, because literally a person's lifestyle at the moment is, let's say for example, using a real world equivalent, let's say for example, I need to go to the shop today, I need to do some shopping, and then I'm heading straight back home. That's what the people are doing right now. They're just going from point A to point B.
Right.
The Corvosan routine that made this city rich and powerful has thoroughly been broken. So, even from 10 years ago, from when you were here last, you knew what the Corvosan routine was, and that hasn't changed over the past decade until now, this moment. What's Runursh's reaction and as he basically walks the streets of a city that pretty much almost seems foreign to him now?
I think he just obviously he was away for a while as well, so I think that would probably amplify that change to him, because he wouldn't have seen any gradual decline or anything. So I think he'd just sort of feel a little bit homesick, and I think a bit of resolve to try and, you know, get the place back to where it was back. Well, not maybe back where it was, but in like a better way than it was. You know, like less corruption, more prosperity. Just, you know, sort of longing for his homeland to do well, and the people there to do well as well, really.
And that also sticks out some more, especially here in Old Corvosa, which, apart from Garrison Hill, where your dojo / residence and the Jade House is, Old Corvosa is pretty much one of the poorer, if not the poorest district in the whole of the city. It's very cramped and packed in here in Old Corvosa. So life in Old Corvosa never exactly has been the best, but one other particular thing does stand out. Where's Blackjack? Blackjack is Corvosa's vigilante. They operate primarily here in Old Corvosa, and basically Blackjack the vigilante has been a symbol of Corvosa, even Romeo can confirm this, since the city's inception. There was always been a Blackjack around Corvosa, but where is Blackjack now? And unfortunately on the 8, the despondent people don't really want to talk, so you can't even at the moment gather information on what has happened to this vigilante, who basically is a symbol of hope for the people of Corvosa, primarily of Old Corvosa, but Blackjack is famous citywide, and again, they are a symbol of hope for the people. So even Blackjack is not around, and that has made the streets even feel perhaps that bit more foreign to you. Also,
cool.
Another thing happens with you. You have Zalara's deck, don't you not?
I believe so, yeah.
After a couple of days before the next mission, when you're in the Jade House or somewhere private, Zalara actually appears. Basically, she just wants to talk to you because essentially she just wants to get to know the individual who is carrying her around, quite frankly. And also the individual who has access to her skills and abilities. Don't forget, Ronursh, with Zalara's deck in your possession, you can cast as a free action True Strike once per day. As she basically has a bit of a natter with you, gets to know you a little bit, but then something about her demeanor becomes very interested in you, and she says, I don't know what it is, Ronursh, but I find myself able to open up to you very easily. There's something about you, a comfort. I don't know what that is. That may sound bad considering I was a fortune teller, but do you know much about yourself, Ronursh?
Probably less than I should.
You are one of the Droma, are you not? Half human, half orc?
Indeed.
Although, GM correction, the term Droma that's coming into the game is for anybody who is... Basically, Droma is going to be the new heritage, so you can have a dwarf Droma in the recent update, in the soon-to-be update, which I think is absolutely badass. And he says, and so I'm just introducing, for those watching or listening in, I'm just introducing the terms now so I can get used to them. And she just says, do you know much about your heritages on either side?
No, I was orphaned when I was young, so I have little knowledge of my parents or their ancestry, unfortunately.
She just nods and says, I don't know what it is then, but there is definitely something about you, young Dromar, that stands out to me. And don't get me wrong, I don't think it's anything like you're related or anything like that, but there's a comfort to you. I feel much at ease with you, and I mean no offense to your companions, but I feel at ease with you the most. Forgive me, I hope you take this as a compliment. This is what it tends to be, Ronursh. And she just kind of even blushes a little bit, like she's a little bit embarrassed, but she just turns around and she says, anyway, yes, sir, it's meant to be a compliment. I find you incredibly easy to talk to, and you put me at ease, which I suppose now that I'm a deck of cards, it's probably a good thing.
Indeed, I find your presence comforting as well, so it was taken indeed as the compliment it was intended, and I must admit, I feel a certain sense of well-being knowing your spirit resides with me.
Well, thank you. Although, and do not get me wrong, I will share this with your companions as well, but I'm a little bit worried, Ronursh. During the Harrow reading, the card of the Rakshasa, someone being played but can be turned if information is presented to them. I can't say for certain, but I have a feeling that was Varric Van Kaskakin, that guardsman you captured.
Indeed.
What I'm getting at here is, in life, my skills have always been legitimate, but the future readings they're always variable. Fate and destiny still exists, as I mentioned, but prophecy is dead. So for a future reading to bear that degree of accuracy, I am concerned, Ronursh.
I agree. The times are changing, and, well, all we can do is wait and see.
Indeed. Let's just hope it's not anything. And she just kind of shakes her head and seemingly even has a small shiver. I suppose we just have to wait and see what it brings.
Agreed.
Alright. So the 4 days pass. You, Ronursh, are summoned to Citadel Volshnek early, before the others, and you are given the brief on Ambassador Ampri, Eel-Enders Devargo Barvasi. And Cressida made no bones about it, because of your previous life and previous connections. Although Devargo has come into the city since you've been away, she felt that you would perhaps be best suited to this job as reconnaissance around Eel's End. And that is where we'll bring all the party back together. So it is the first day of the Galarian week. It is the moon day, Faris 24th, 4708 AR. Scattered clouds today, but it's mostly clear. It's just under 10 degrees centigrade as well. And Beryl, Romeo, and Ark all start to approach Eel's End. And you actually see Ronursh standing on a corner before the pier that leads out into Eel's End itself. Not only that, you see somebody else with Ronursh, who you see is actually Zalara, who has once again manifested, but this time she has manifested in her more natural, almost human form from when you first met her. The floor is yours. What would you like to do? Anyone?
Good to see you guys again. How have you been?
Been busy, keeping busy. Self.
Yeah, well, you know, running around doing the bidding of others.
Aren't we all?
Greetings.
So,
Dings Alara.
Well, it is good to see you all again. I must admit, I can't stop for long, but I wanted to manifest this day because I wanted to get a look on that place again. And what she's talking about is Eel's End itself. Now, Eel's End is a 70-foot long pier that basically has 5 boats more to it. 4 of these boats are barges. However, the 5th boat is actually a disused and, quite frankly, landlocked in warship. Let me show you a photo of what Eel's End looks like, and this is information that Ronursh can pass on to you. So let's see. Here we go. Here we go. So this is Eel's End. We're looking at a top-down map here. We're at the end of this 70-foot long pier. Each square on this map, by the way, represents 10 foot of space. There's a 30-foot platform at the end, and there you see the 5 ships, all moored to Eel's End and all attached together to one another. Ronursh, Over your reconnaissance, you have learned the following information: that the Eel-Enders warship itself is where Devargo actually resides and conduct his business. You learn that, let's see, getting the full information up for myself. Here we go. The ship to the northwest, the Golden Hawk, is actually the inn. It is actually a very, very cheap inn. A room per night for only 4 copper pieces. The ship known as the Twin Tigers is essentially the gambling hall and bar. The most popular game on Eel's End at the moment seems to be dice poker. The House of Clouds is essentially the brothel. However, from what little you have managed to gather, it is actually a professional house of leisure. You have learned that the name of the Madame is Helvara, and essentially...
Oh, you cut out them.
You completely cut out, yeah.
Oh, okay. What did you hear last?
House of Ledge.
Yeah.
Okay, so the House of Clowns is essentially a pleasure boat, a brothel. However, it is professionally run, looked after, and it's basically tidy and clean, run by a Madame Helvara. And then the final boat, which is attached to the Eel-Enders warship, is known as the Dragon's Breath Corridor, which is basically, well, fancy getting high? That's where you go. Use a real world equivalent. Welcome to Amsterdam on one single pier. But it's actually Zalara who turns and actually says, the information I found out about Gadron Lam, this is where I went to get it. And I'm aware of your job here, the Field Marshal. And I just wanted to warn you before you go in about the Vargo Varvasi. You see, I did favours here at Eel's End. I got to know all of the ships, all of the owners, all of the captains. Did multiple Harrow readings here, and eventually got an audience with the man himself. He is a cruel individual. I have no regrets, but I just want you to know, he may pay his vice taxes, he knows how to play the laws of Corvosa, but I got the distinct impression that he's not as smart as he thinks he is. But that is combined with the knowledge he does possess. Somehow, he is a legitimate information broker, and even I could not find out where his sources have come from. And also, I had... This is going to sound terrible, and I must admit I was prepared to do this, and I was expecting this to happen, but I got the information about Gadron when Devargo requested a private Harrow session with me. Now I know how that sounds, but here's the twist in the proverbial plot. That didn't actually happen. He legitimately wanted a private Harrow reading. She points to the House of Clouds. The reason why my suspicions were incorrect is because of the House of Clouds. I found out that the rumors are that Madame Helvara is actually Devargo's partner. And for all intents and purposes, he seems actually legitimately loyal to her. Also, I wanted to let you all know that in his Harrow reading, I did foresee that there would be a group of individuals who would come with him with an offer. An offer that could either make or break him. Usually, I don't put much stock in the future readings. Usually, on a good day, one of the three may have a kernel of truth. But considering the Raksasha card and all the worlds meet, and now this ambassador and the city of Korvosa being attacked from all sides, it seems, I just thought it would be best to warn you that maybe that Harrow reading may indicate to you four.
Certainly interesting.
Indeed.
I thought it would be at least responsible of me to let you all know this, but be careful. Devago is I know good, evil, and neutrality are abstract concepts, but he's one of the reasons why they are concepts to begin with. I don't have long left. I must rest soon, but I have been here before. Is there anything you would like to ask me before I go? Any information I can give you to aid you here?
If talking to him doesn't pan out and things get violent, I'm assuming as a former warship it's heavily guarded. Does he have his own men stationed around the place, or is it almost like a fort?
The warship is in a state of disrepair. It looks pretty on the outside, but internally, this warship would have sunk long ago if it wasn't for the fact that there are former pier moorings underneath it that is basically locked it and holding it in place. The other four barges can come and go as they please, but the Eel's End itself is landlocked. As for guards, he keeps a professional run ship. He always has 10 on at a time, trained, doesn't suffer any foolishness, and like I said, he plays the system well. If you try to hide out in Eel's End, they have no qualms with actually turning you over to the Korvosan Guard. So, this is a professional you are dealing with this time. Is there anything else?
No, I think we have all we need. Thank you.
Very well. I wish you all good luck. And with that, she actually turns and starts to walk down a side alley. But as she does and is out of sight of everyone else around her, apart from you four, she actually fades out in a ghostly visage and disappears back into the Harrow deck in Runush's pocket. So, Eel's End is before you. Feel free to proceed.
So, what's the first step?
Well, if we're dealing with a professional, it's probably safe to say that I won't be talking to him unless it's words of violence, so I think it's best if I keep my mouth shut. We're not getting into trouble.
Well, we could. I could always hide everyone's outfits, I suppose. Make them see slightly more like revelers. To fit in slightly better.
Okay.
I mean, I hate to ask, but Ronursh, as your past exploits, have you ever had dealings with him?
No, I don't think so. It's mainly through Gadrian, but who knows how intricately woven that web was. So, no, unfortunately, no first-hand knowledge of the fellow.
That's fine then. I think we got all the information from Solara.
Just thinking of ways to approach this, really. He's a business. Well, he is the real deal, so we don't want to underestimate that. 'Cause that could lead to problems.
I mean, let me have a think. Okay, if he is legitimately a businessman, then concerns that would have upon him is if Ambassador does pull out trade and things like that, his pocket would be lessened.
The ambassador doesn't really want to pull out trade, trying to get rid of the sanctions on trade. But him buying up large swaths of the city does affect his business.
Oh yes, that's right. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention during cross meeting. I was very tired.
It's fine. Yes, the buying up land is an issue. But does he see it as a real issue or a minor inconvenience? Is the question to ask.
Well, either way, it'll be a rival for what he can and is doing off books, as it were.
Certainly put a cog in it.
So if we address him on those issues, perhaps he may be willing to give us information about the ambassador that could prove us, could be proven helpful.
Yes. But they'll always come for a price. Well, we have the gold, and I can always put in a little bit more if he wants more.
I've got a little I can always throw your way as well.
We just need to make it seem like it's definitely a him problem as well. Not just the city in general, and ways it could affect his business. Did Cassida tell us what parts of the city he was buying up?
She didn't go into specifics about what Ambassador Ampri was doing, no. However, for those who have the skill, they can make me a open society check to try and answer that question. So I believe that's Ark and Romeo.
Oof.
Romeo, are you with us? Would you like to make a roll?
I'm just wondering, how old is the gentleman from Eel-Enders? Do we
What, the
know?
Vargo?
Yeah.
That will come in with the society check.
Okay.
Oh, we're not doing well here.
13.
Alright,
Got a
so that's
9.
so that's a 9 off a natural 1 and a 13. Ark, this is really... Although such dealings with dodgy individuals is your forte, property is not really your forte. On a 13, it's a failure. So you don't know anything about Devargo. But as you've been in this city the longest, Romeo, then I would say even on a failure you get this. You don't know for certain, but you would think the most logical properties to buy up would be ones like the old fishery that fall into that state of I can't remember what the term was, but basically there's a 2-year period for somebody to claim it before it goes back to the Corvosan government to use as they see fit. It's probably those sorts of properties he's buying up. As for information on Devargo, no. I mean, even Ark has just... Even he said last time he's heard of him, but never had any business dealings with him.
I know that. I'm just wondering if the Sable Company would have had dealings with him, or if they would have just. Were they on the take to basically police themselves?
To be honest with you, your information checks are so low that you wouldn't know. Ronursh, you don't have the skill, but give me an open perception check as you have done reconnaissance of this place. See if there's anything you've figured out. Because perception also acts as sense motive, aka insight, in this system.
18.
Okay. On an 18, after having a mosey around, you do know that it seems like Corvosan Guard members, Sable Company members, and not even members of the Hell Knight Order of the Nail are welcome here on Eel's End. You did notice on an 18 that one Corvosan Guard member was caught here, but he was strictly off duty, out of uniform, and as a general member of the public as a paying punter, but even then, that individual was watched like a hawk. However, despite that, Eel's End actually came across to you as one of the most safer and even more stable locations in Corvosa these days. The riots haven't touched this place, and in fact, the need for escapism amongst the people has increased trade and business here. Things here in Eel's End are absolutely booming at the moment. Right.
Right. If that's the case, I may have an idea. We can say that since the ambassador's planning to buy up places like the old fishery, he can start his own version of Eel's End and directly put himself as a competitor.
I mean, it's a large enough building, so it's definitely a trading facility, but other places around, I mean...
Yes, all he needs to do is buy up, and then he has a larger access to a bigger dock, essentially. He can control what he wants in better. No one likes that for business.
You do also know from Cressida's briefing information that the ambassador does frequent Eel's End, so he would seemingly know this place inside and out by now.
Ah. He can certainly do set up another business like this one. He knows how it works, he knows how to undercut him. And he does seem like the type of fellow to do that, from what we've learned so far. Now, the question becomes, how do we want to approach him? Just ask for a meeting?
Is
But-
there any other shopping areas in this section, like where Siege Break Circle or that area of this north section, Old Corvosa is?
Why? What do you
You know.
have in mind?
I'm just wondering if there's any other like buildings that are like kind of like the fishery and disarray, and that possibly the ambassador might look to buy up to try and push sales away from Eel's End.
Around here, not really. As I said, Old Corvosa is pretty much a cramped in environment. That's actually a reminder for next session to actually ready a photo of what some artwork of what Eel's End actually looks like. But what I'm getting at there is pretty much all places are occupied here at Eel's End. In terms of anything that stands out around here, though, there is a couple of places. You do, let's see, I've got to get the core. Let's see. Just got to get up some Corvosan information here, because there are a few places around quite close to Eel's End actually in this vicinity. The one that really sticks out in terms of money making is actually a very, very weird place. Let's see, I'll find the information up for it in a moment. But basically, it's a macabre museum dedicated to the occult, the weird, the strange, and the quite frankly, well, horrible.
I'd have definitely been there a couple of times.
You probably have actually. It's owned by a man by the name of Pitt Swastel, and Piltz is a rather eccentric character. As a matter of fact, you can give me a open society check on that if you want, Romeo.
Yeah. That is a 24.
Yeah, Piltz is the owner of this place that's nearby, and he is an interesting fellow who is into the occult and the macabre. Let's use a real world equivalent. Have you ever been to a museum of the weird and the wacky, like a Ripley's Believe It or Not?
Yeah, I have.
Topher?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of in that vein, actually. It's, let's see. Yes, I've got the name right here. The name of the place that Piltz owns is called Exemplary. This is a great name. Exemplary Execrables. And yeah, it's actually situated not too far away from the old temple that was dedicated to the god of humanity, Eredin, which has also now fallen into disrepair since Eredin perished a century ago. But in this local vicinity, that is the only other real money-making venture. I believe there is a tavern nearby. Hold on, I'm just double-checking the map. Let's see. You do know there is a place nearby called Copper Beater Hall, but through your trading contacts, that place has been shut down since the riots. That was basically a smith's hall that produces pots, pans, and cutlery and stuff like that. But yeah, actually looking at this, I can confirm that the only real money-making venture nearby is actually exemplary execrables, but those are two different it's a different market to what Devargo's doing, if you get my meaning, mate.
Okay, that's cool.
I had to dive into the book there to get that information. So, to answer your question in a shortened way, no, Old Corvosa's pretty much crammed up, and the only real other money-making convention nearby is exemplary execrables, run by this strange, occultism-focused, obsessed man by the name of Pils Swastel. Right, what's next?
If he's buying up old properties that are basically being returned to the bank, going up for auction, whatever, someone's at a loss, then potentially he will buy more properties up in the future because of the riots. Like the site of your shop that had been destroyed. And if he's doing that, then sure, North Point, everything below down to my home. If he's building bigger and better visions of what is in Eel's End, then he'll lose all his business to south of this location. So no one would be coming here, and his profits, as well as that Havana woman, will be surely out of pocket. If we play to that angle, perhaps even with coin, he may be able to give us a little information about him.
That might be a good idea.
I mean, even with the World's Meat now, it's a vacant building. If he gets his ears on that, then that could be another source of revenue that may be plucked from here.
So come on then, what are we doing?
I think that playing to his greatest asset, which is business and money, sway him to be more compatible to not compatible. What's the word? Put him in a position where he's more to help us deal with our task, and that way his business isn't touched. His business isn't touched. He can progress as he has been without any threat to any competition.
Alright. So, want to head into Eel's End then? Itself? Alright. So, you all make your way onto the pier, and for the record, I've just put exemplary execrables on the map. It's actually not too far away from where you are, actually. Just literally up, just literally to the top of the road and off to the northwest a bit. All right. So you proceed onto Eel's End Pier itself. You see the 5 ships moored before you. Where are you making a start, or are you just going straight for the Eel's End?
Let's see, what do you say? see, House of Clouds is the brothel. Golden Hawk was
The inn.
the inn.
Yeah. Twin Tigers, Gambling Hall, Dragon's Breath Corridor, High House.
Do you happen to have the map anywhere that I could have a look again? As-
If you go to the journal section, there should be a tab that's now open that says handouts. If you open the folder for Edge of Anarchy, there should be a handout for Eel's End in there for you.
Okay. Dicebreaker.
Nice.
Oh, no, that's just Dicebreaker.
I think the easiest thing, if we head into Goldhawk first, I mean, we can
There we go.
inquire to how to approach him without being sort of rude, disrespectful, or potential threat.
Alright, so if you're heading into the Golden Hawk first, this small ship has seen countless crude repairs. Its seaworthiness is dubious, but lashed as it is to the pier, it seems stable enough. As the nameplate proclaims it to be the Golden Hawk, you walk in and you see a very simple looking retreat. However, it's nice enough, and for only 4 copper pieces a night, you can't exactly complain. All the bunks are stuffed into the lower hold. You get the impression it's going to be a bit cramped in here, but because of Devargo's presence, having a night's rest here will actually be kind of peaceful and relatively safe. Behind the front desk, you see a gnome who has basically had embroidered onto his shirt his name in Taldane Common. The name says Tuggins. Very patchy beard, crumpled hat, and he moves around with a constant jingle as he has a very extensive collection of keys attached to his belt, and I mean extensive collection. What would you like to do?
Well, I think our more sociable members should have a chat with him.
Are there many people in, or is it just Huggins?
At this time of day, which is coming up to 1:30 in the afternoon, the Golden Hawk is pretty deserted. There is a couple of people sleeping in downstairs in the bunks that you can hear, but there's not many in here bar Tuggins at the moment.
The lunch rush finished.
Well, it's not that sort of an inn. You just get the impression that this is a ship full of bunk beds. If anyone's eating, they're probably going over to the Twin Tigers.
Could we possibly just make it look like we're here to stay for a night? And give us something that we can have a position where it looks like we are part of a traveling people.
That's up to you.
I think that could work, yes.
Mark, which way does the money flow on this river? Do they
Which one?
come, do they come from actual inland, coming from basically the south or on Jago River, or do they come mostly from the sea?
Okay, so let's see. You've been in the city long enough, so I don't think a check is required here. Basically, the sea is off to the west, And so, yes, the peninsula that Corvosa and Old Corvosa is on, it does flow from the sea into the top of the Jagari River, where it proceeds east and then down south. Where you are and where the section between the peninsula and the island of Old Corvosa meet, that section which is known as the Narrows, that is the water flowing back out towards the west and towards the sea. So it's rather strange here in this section of the city and where you are, Eel's End being the first or the last pier on Old Corvosa, depending on your perspective. The river both flows. I believe that my nautical terms is not great, but I believe the term is cross current. And it's a cross current between the south and back out towards the west. At Eel's End in particular.
So there's quite a forced waters in the middle area.
With a cross current, yeah, swimming around here would be a lot trickier than one would think. Well, where are you going with this, Topher? I'm intrigued.
It was just so that just wondering where people would travel from, because like if the Jagari River goes towards more like lavish towns and more expensive places, more people would travel down the Jagari River to more of the south of Corvosa, but if it's more the richer people coming from the sea, it will depend on what we kind of look like would be.
Well, you do know that the Jagare River runs down past the city and then heads off towards the east, and it actually spins and curls up and round into the Mind Spin Mountains itself. Essentially, Corvosa is actually the last point of call on the Jagare River before heading into the Mind Spin Mountains. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is, to put it simply, Corvosa would be the last stop for a while.
Okay.
Alright.
If we're acting as,
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Alex.
I was going to say, if we're acting as travelers, then and Ronursh could be acting as like bodyguards for you two, and having to Wally half orc stand behind you would only have that sort of mystique of we've been traveling from place to place.
You can certainly do that, but Ark is wearing his Academy coat.
That is the main issue, yeah.
It's not exactly an issue, though. As soon as you walked into Eel's End, Ark doesn't actually stand out. As Cressida had mentioned before in the last session, he's not the first Academy student to sneak down here, so it's
So you've come to speak with Ark then? Somewhere private.
Yeah, he's not exactly sticking out. Believe it or not, Ark's not exactly sticking out like a sore thumb. So the people of Eel's End have clocked that Ark was local. I mean, he did offer to potentially change you all into something with more befitting attire, but I don't think you took him up on it.
So, Mr. Ark, you mentioned that this is this Eel's End, this boat here, or is it a separate boat? You were showing us around. Barkeep,
Could I have a round for us? This gentleman is showing us the local taverns and towns.
He looks at you and he says, if you really want something to drink, you need to go over to the Twin Tigers. I do have something for sale, but I've only got ale and that's it. I'm a sleeping place. I'm a bunkhouse, mate.
Oh, I apologize. We've just recently arrived. You say that you have places to crash.
Yeah, down below. Hammocks and bunks. 4 copper if you're interested. Bit stuffy, but you will be comfortable and safe around here.
So that's 4 copper for each, you say?
Yes. One of the cheapest rates you'll get here in Corvosa. Trust me on that, not just Eel-Enders.
Then I will take 3 bunks, if possible, for me and my 2 traveling partners.
All right then, that'll be 12 copper pieces then, please.
Certainly.
And I'll pay him 12 copper.
Yeah, just deduct that from your coinage as he just says, well, thank you very much. Welcome to the Golden Orc. My name's Tuggins. I'm your faithful owner. What can I do for you? Anything else?
We noticed on the way into your thing, you have many rather luxurious boats. Do they sail or are they just for show?
The other boats in mine can sail. Apart from the Eel-Enders, that's a bit landlocked these days. Wedged on pier. Oh, what's it called? What? I know I should know these things, being a nautical man, but to be honest with you, I've been in Eel-Enders for years now, and as long as I pay my rent to the Vargo, I don't plan on going anywhere. Business here is good. But the other 4 ships can move, including my own, are barges, but the Eel-Enders, it's locked in. Old Chellish warship, that is, from back from the Civil War days.
Wow. Do you have to pay to get onto it? Is it like a museum, or are you able to freely...
Museum, mate, what do you think we are? Go to that weird shop if you want a museum, that weird place just up the road from here, exemplary excrement or something or other, but no. The Eel-Enders, the actual ship itself, that's old. That's the boss man's place. You only go there by invite.
No, you're not the boss here.
I run the Golden Hawk, but the whole of Eel-Enders is run by a man by the name of Tavargo Barvarsi. Ain't you done your own work?
Oh no, we've just recently been travelling. Mr. Ark here, we were given a kind of a toy. He wasn't too excited about giving us this tour, but people have told him that he must.
Oh, I see. Right. Oh, right. Oh, so right. That coat. You lot associated with the academy then in some way?
Sort of. We are travelling mages.
He looks at Ronursh and he looks at Feral.
Well, them two, no. Myself, I have using them for actual protection. I am rather quite weak and usually quite get myself into a lot of trouble with the law.
Yeah, no, I understand. Well, don't
Just
bring
nodding
that.
in the background.
Yeah, just don't bring that trouble down here, or Devargo won't have any of it. All right. If he's feeling kind, he might just hand you over to the Corvosan Guard.
And those are they the people that like protect the whole area, or do they protect just your area?
The Corvosan Guard, they're supposed to protect this city, but oh dear. Let's say after our recent riotous behaviour, they're stretched a bit thin.
Oh, so you're saying that there could be some violence.
Oh, not here on Eel's End. Oh, bloody tourist. Didn't you learn anything before coming down here? No, here on Eel's End, no, Devargo and his boys, we police ourselves, and, well, I dare say there's no safer area in Corvosa right now.
Well, that sounds good that we found your place then. No, I just happened to see the vessel, your Eel's End vessel, and it reminded me of some of the places that I have travelled for quite some time. It just made me kind of sidetrack our journey a little bit.
Well, you and we're long-lived out the ancestral kin, so I can see, if I may be so bold, I can see the centuries in ya. But, yeah, old Chelish warship from back in the day. Did you fight in the Civil War?
I was thereabouts. I didn't actually fight. I was used more as a point of reference.
Same. That's when I first set up. Well, it wasn't the Golden Hawk at the time, but that's where I got the old, that's where I got the whole idea for this ship and this business. Once that human god died, then the old Cheliacs went to hell and people lost their homes and needed somewhere to stay. And he kind of taps his head as if to say, I'm smart.
Well, I can certainly say that you found yourself a very safe location.
As long as I keep paying my rent to Tobago, then I am secure and safe here in Eel's End.
Wonderful. Do we just choose a bunk, or is it designated areas?
First come, first serve. You just take one, okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
And I just keep a tab on how many bunks are filled up.
Well, thank you. So you said that the Twin Tigers, you said, was the place for drinks.
Yes, it's. I have a few ales and stuff, but I tried not to step on the Twin Tigers' toes. It's the gambling hall, and yes, very popular establishment here on Eel's End, probably next to the House of Clouds, and yeah, dice
House of
poker.
Clouds.
Yes, it's well, if you're feeling a bit lonely, then whatever your tastes are, Madame Halvala can sate those tastes. But actually, a very properly run establishment. Actually, she's a good woman. Apparently, she's also, just between you and me, so you don't step on any toes. Apparently, she's also Devargo's partner, so that nobody knows for sure, but if that's true, then even that rumor alone is enough to keep her,
Safe.
pretty much, yes. No one will mess with her on Eel's End. But Dragon's Breath Corridor, that's a place if you like some recreational substances. Bezerati is the man who runs that place.
I've been meaning to refill my pipe. That might
He's
be
certainly
an
the man to
interesting
speak
place.
to, yes. But yeah, so whatever your vice is here on Eel's End, and if you've travelled a long way, I can understand the need for a vice, then it can be pretty much filled here in Eel's End. The big popular thing right now, especially over the Twin Tigers, is dice poker. It was a favourite game of Devargo's for when he lived in Riddleport, so he brought it over here to Corvosa with him.
I do remember that. I haven't played that in a while, but I remember it. I used to be quite, I would say, quite a good hand at it. I'd have to give myself a go.
Boss man is a nut on it. He's absolutely balmy for dice poker, and because Devargo is balmy for dice poker, everybody else on Eel's End is balmy for dice poker.
I can certainly would see. He seems a rather astute gentleman. Does he treat you well, or?
As long as I pay my rent on time.
Right.
Otherwise, then let's put it this way. The men are not above throwing you into the Varisian Gulf or the Jagare River to let the Dickshaw sharks have their way with you, and sometimes people just don't come out of the Eel's End ship at all when they are being naughty and sent to see the boss.
So, if someone was wanting to look at a possible investment into this area, would it be wise to speak with him directly?
What, like mooring up another ship? Oh yeah, everything goes through Devargo. Like you've really got to get his attention first.
Wonderful. I have been considering the gentleman to my right. He's very good with flowers. You wouldn't believe it, but
Unless it will help the Dragon's Breath corridor, flowers. No, this is not a place for something prim and proper, my friend.
Oh no, it would certainly help with the Dragon's Breath.
I see. Right. I see. Well, if you've come here for that sort of business, then you would have to speak to the boss. But boss's time and attention is hard to acquire.
If I was to say, make it worth your means, who should I chat to see if I can get a audience with your boss?
How much is it worth to you?
I have some coin. I could say 5 silver. But any...
Give us a secret diplomacy check, please. Romeo.
Yep.
Secret roll, secret roll. What's gonna happen with secret roll?
Okay.
He looks at you and he says, "All right, show me the silver."
I'll make sure that there's no one looking. I'll give the two of my bodyguards a look to make sure that no one notices where I'm taking these coins out of.
Yeah, fair play. You're playing the act, yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
And then
I'm
I'll
just looking around.
Yeah, no
and
worries.
then I'll just slowly slide the 5 silver towards him.
All right. Tuggins spits on his hand and goes to shake it. Offers to shake yours.
Yeah, sorry, certainly.
And I'll place out a hand to him.
He says, "Done. All right." He takes the 5 silver and he says, "All right. So if you really want to earn Devargo's favour, and if you want to speak to the boss, then you can either speak with Halvora, or you could probably make a name for yourself at the Twin Tigers with some dice poker. For example, if you are a stranger to the city and you come in straight away and you blow away with a game of dice poker, that will get back to Devargo because, as I said, he's balmy for dice poker. So a tourist coming in, winning a game, because he keeps an eye on, I don't know how he does it. I suppose he's called the King of Spiders for a reason, but I don't know how he does it. He keeps up with all the games here on Eel's End. Even if he doesn't witness this himself, he hears something about it. So, yeah, maybe if you want to get into Boss's good books, speak to Halvara, or make yourself known with some dice poker.
And where would I find that Halvara, you say?
And Madam Helvira runs the House of Clouds.
Yes,
you,
the lady.
you don't have to partake if you do not wish to, but she just might have a favour. She just might have a favour to ask you if you're looking to get into Vargo's good books.
I'm over 500 years old. I have been lonely for quite some time.
Say no more, my friend. He just stops you right there.
Yeah.
He just says, "Say no more, my friend. Say no more. I'm into my 3rd century myself, so I get it. Sometimes that is what the..." And he looks at Ark and Feral and Ronursh, and he gives you a look of no offense meant. He just says, sometimes that's what the shorter-lived ancestral kin don't understand. The centuries they can wear on people like us. So say no more, my friend. I totally get it.
Thank you. Well, we will certainly be back once the sun goes down. But you said the twin. Which one is the? I'm guessing it's the noisy one that we were coming in. Is the twin tigers.
Oh yes, pretty much. The Twin Tigers is the noisy one, the Dragon's Breast Corridor is the smoky one, and the House of Clouds is the neat one.
Well, thank you so much. And we will be back shortly.
No worries. Welcome to Eel's End, my friend. Oh, sorry, can I have a name for the book?
Sand. S-A-N-D.
Give us a secret deception check. You have deception?
Yep.
Alright, awesome.
A secret one, yeah.
Yeah, just a secret one, please. Okay. Right. I'm going to let you know that from your secret roll, I'm going to deduct 2 because it actually came up with your bonus for your hunted prey, which is not applicable here.
Why is it?
I have no idea why it's done that. No worries there. Have you got hunt target? Have you got hunt prey marked on your action sheet?
Don't think so.
Yeah, that could potentially do it, but regardless, it doesn't matter. He writes, Tuggins writes the name Sand into his journal, and he just says, "Very well, Mr. Sand. Enjoy your time here in Eel's End."
Thank you. I'm gonna head towards the Twin Tigers. I haven't played the poker, but I think it should come back to me very quickly. Thank you.
Very well. Have a good day to you all. All right. So you head on over to Twin Tigers. Now, as soon as you get there, this place is definitely perhaps more feral and even Ronish's speed from back in the day. As soon as you enter the Twin Tigers, you see 2 hut-like structures sit atop of this barge. And there are periodic roars of victory and sound within. As soon as you look through the door or enter the first hut on the first barge, you literally come in to what can be best described as a cheery dive bar with gambling tables. Lunchtime hour is still really kicking in the Twin Tigers, and there are a lot of people in here this day, not just regular Eel's End patrons, but you see folks from all walks of life from all over Corvosa. You see nobles, Schwanti, Varisian, Corvosan, every day. Anyone and everyone is basically coming here to get a temporary release from all the recent goings on in the city. What would you like to do?
So, guys, gentlemen, apparently to get a conversation with him, we have to try and maybe win big at the dice poker, or go and talk to Madam. I forgot her name again. Ages
Game
getting
chat, Halvara.
I'm playing the freaking character.
Oh,
Read
right. My character's old.
You'll start calling her Elvira in a minute. It's like,
Yeah.
no, it's someone else. Someone else.
Miss Elvira.
Well, that's probably what she's gonna look like.
I don't think the whole me being foreign or from distance is going to work in this area, because I can kind of see people that I've sold items to.
Well, don't ask me to play any games. I'd rather play with my life than my money.
Well, who would like to know a little bit about dice poker then, at least? If it helps the players
Yeah,
make a
go on.
decision.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay, this is also, let me just check the ownership. Yeah, okay, this has also gone into the handouts folder now, but if I pop this up, this should work. Let's have a look. No change. Bang. Oh, no, that hasn't appeared on the stream view, or the recording view rather. So I'll bring that up here as well. Do it this way. So, let's see. Dice Poker. It's a game on Eel-Enders that's become popular since Devargo, according to him, brought the game over from Riddleport. How you play Dice Poker is actually pretty simple. Each player will roll initiative. This is actually a mini game, and they use their actions to roll five dice up to 3 times. 1 action per set of 5. Trying to roll the best poker hand they can. The current player may choose to end their turn after the first roll or the second roll if they wish. If at the end of the round 2 or more players are tied to win, then those players should roll their turns again until the clear winner is established. Also, don't forget, with Pathfinder, you get 3 actions and a reaction. So like in combat, think about how you can potentially use your skills to gain an upper hand. But beware though, if you use your skills to somehow gain a footing in the dice poker match, you will /may waste one of your sets of 5 dice rolls. But you could be able to, in return, help your next dice roll set out. Or if you want to play Lady Luck and let Desna decide with the 3 straight sets, go for it. Just be aware of who you are playing against and guess how they may play the game and their tactics. How the scores are ranked in Dice Poker is simple. 6s are highs, then 5s, then 4s, etc. And the dice hand ranks are as follows: 5 of a kind, 4 of a kind, full house, 3 of a kind, 2 pair, 1 pair, and then a high dice. So it's actually a pretty simplistic game. And anybody... Yeah, and then, I just want to say, and anybody can use any of their potential skills. Like I said, get funky. Sorry, were you going to say something there, Kieran, mate, as Ronursh? I do apologise, mate.
That just sounds fun and simple. I would very much like a go, unless any of you would prefer to go.
I reckon it could be an interesting thing if you set it yourself up to it would give more of a, someone would notice you more with the size of you winning than what myself or Ark.
Yes, I suppose, and a Brucey bonus is I'm nice and loud, so when I win, I can make a scene.
Yes.
And that would probably draw out Vargo. One of his favorite games has been disturbed by some ruckus.
A brutish fellow.
Ark looks at you all, and I'm just informing those watching him now. Greg has had to tap out of today's session because he is not feeling well, but he has given us consent and permission, and he wants us to play on. So he will. So what Ark is going to say is, well, Ronursh, you used to be essentially an enforcer for Gadrin, right?
Indeed.
Well, maybe if you get his attention with dice poker or a ruckus. I wouldn't advise the ruckus, we may get kicked out. But if you get his attention, maybe we could get a meeting with him as if you were looking for a job from him.
Yes, that sounds plausible.
Well then, I shall go. If you want to try the dice poker, I will see what's in the other shack on this barge and see what I can find out the old-fashioned way, greasing some palms maybe.
Let's do it.
Alright, so Ark will head to the second hut on the Twin Tigers, which actually seems to be more of sort of like the general bar. The first hut on the southwestern side of the ship is the gambling hall, while the northwestern portion of the second hut of the ship appears to be the drinking establishment. You even see patrons between the two ships milling about on the deck, having a drink or 17. So, Ronursh, you're looking to play some dice poker?
Indeed.
Okay. So, there appears to be two human brothers wrapped in red veils, and you are easily pointed to as the owners of the Twin Tigers. These are true Vudran men. The one you need to deal with, though, is a man by the name of Rajik. And you approach Rajik, who appears to be the older brother. He says, "Welcome to Twin Tigers. You're new around here, are you not?"
I am. I'm out and about looking for some work and some fun.
He gives you the once over. He says, "Well, as long as it's fun you are looking for, cause no trouble here, or security will not be afraid to throw you overboard. Are we clear?"
Crystal clear, my friend. Now, what does a man such as yourself do for fun around here?
He smiles and he says, "Well, around here, people either play knivesies, although that has fallen out of popularity recently because of quite a nasty accident that went too far for even the Vargo's standards. There is also dice poker. We also play some bowls."
What is this dice poker? I'm
Oh.
unfamiliar, but it sounds interesting.
Have you ever played poker with? Have you ever played the poker game with cards?
I have on occasion, yes.
Dice poker is the same, only you replace the cards with the dice.
And
Generally Generally, same rules.
that sounds like fun. Perhaps we can order a drink and you can teach me to play.
Oh, it's simple. The best way to learn is to play. I do not play myself, but if you wish a drink, very simple. What would be your poison?
A simple ale for a simple man, I suppose.
No problem. 1 cup apiece, please.
Here you go.
Thank you kindly, sir. So, you wish to play and look for work?
I do, yes.
I see size of you. Are you afraid to throw fists?
I am most certainly not afraid to throw fists, no.
Interesting. Then maybe maybe play your dice right. Job around here you may be hired for.
Yeah, this day just keeps getting better.
Well, I tell you what. Look over there. And he points out to what appears to be one of these Eel-End enforcers. That over there is Renaud. He is enforcer of Eel's End, but currently off duty. However, usually guards the Eel's End ship itself. If you look for work, maybe get in his good books, and he will get you into the Vargo's good books.
Sounds like a fair trade to me.
If you wish to learn dice poker, one of the favorite games of Reinald's, maybe give him a match. Learn the game, and maybe earn a favor.
That sounds good to me.
But again, no trouble. Understand?
Understood. No trouble.
Alright. So, is anybody doing anything else, or are we just going to Reinald and Ronursh?
I'm assuming someone's going to speak with what's her name? Let me just roll back up the chat. Halvara.
Okay.
I will go off and speak to the proprietor of the Dragon's Breath.
Okay. So, Ronursh is going to play dice poker. Beryl
As
is
he's-
going to...
As he's playing with Reynold, that sort of changed my idea, so I'll go off to the Dragon's Breath.
Oh, okay. What idea did you have in mind, mate, though?
Well, if he was playing the brothers, then I would go over to Reynold and I will say, cousin and I are looking for work while we're in town. Said that you guys don't hire your own rather than deal with the local guard. So I was wondering if there was any places open.
You can still, if you wish, do that, Alex, mate. Not a problem at all. It's if we say you mention this after Ronursh speaks, he turns around and he'll say, "Ah, you two are cousins."
It's distant cousins, but can almost tell that we have been mistaken for brothers before.
No, I
Yes,
think
yes. All orcs are related. Yes, of course.
So, well, forgive me, a busy day today, but if you wish to try and earn some work here too, then honestly, why not play with Reynolds yourself then as well? It's not a one-on-one game. The table could be as many people as you wish. Maybe if you play with the guards too and get to know guards, maybe they can help you.
I'm not one for games. I'm more used to dealing with those who interrupt games, if you understand my meaning.
I see. You're the one who throws people overboard.
Overboard, through windows, through doors, ceilings, floors, depending where I am.
Then maybe you could speak around and see if anybody needs a favor.
I can do that.
Rajik nods. So, okay, we're going to have Feral then ask around. Still going to the Dragon's Breath, Feral?
Yeah, I got a different plan for that one.
All right, no worries. And we're going to have Ronursh play dice poker. And what is... Well, yeah, Ronursh is playing dice poker. Feral's going to head over to Dragon's Breath. We'll just ask around. Ark is in the other... hut, and he's just going to do some regular gather information, and I will do a roll for Ark to see if he discovers anything. What about you, Romeo? Do you have anything in mind?
I was gonna wonder if I could just speak with the two of them, like away from the gentleman, and see if we can come up with a plan of getting them a more of a way of being shown to how their powers work, their strength.
Okay, you can certainly do that. You can
Before
You can
then
pull-
going to the House of Clouds, I'll be going to shortly.
yeah, no worries. You can pull aside the the two Dromar for a second.
Ronursh, and Farrell, I have a possible plan that we could make it look like you are rather stronger means. I was thinking if I play a game and lose quite big, if I possibly start a problem of you could forcibly remove me from the building.
We could certainly do that.
It could work, but I believe with dice poker, you can't choose to lose. So perhaps if you do lose, we could do that, and if you don't, then we can continue with the original plan.
Yes, certainly.
All right.
If it seems that Ronursh has the upper hand, you can accuse him of somehow cheating, and then I can step in as like, how dare you dishonor my family, and I can just escort you out.
Yes, it will allow us to show you in a more stronger means, and being able to remove the situation quickly might get them their attention.
Agreed.
Well, if I act as an observer while you're playing the game, I can stand behind you, and then I can maneuver my way around to deal with you, Romeo, afterwards.
Sadly.
That's for a while, because I want to have you'll grab a drink at the bar. We'll do this, and then while you guys either feel confident to do that, I may nip into the Dragon's Breath and ask questions in there.
All right. So it seems like the party have a couple of solid plans on how to proceed this. So what I want to do, because I feel like this plans could take some time to play out, is I think I'll close the session there for today, and when we'll come back we will execute all of these ideas and all of these plans. It definitely does sound like there's a plan A, B and C, so let's actually close it for now, and when we come back then we'll execute those plans. Alright, so definitely a different situation you've been thrown into, haven't you?
Mhm.
So, when we return, we'll find out how the party's plans map out. But this is a tabletop role-playing game. These plans never ever go wrong, surely, do they? Join us next time and we'll find out. Till then, folks, take care. Bye-bye.
Slide down the rooftop, slide down